Hey, what's up, y'all? Scavenger Reviews here. Quick little thing before we get started. Um, Captain Cuba, or Cuba, I'm pretty sure it's Cuba though. Captain Cuba, under the mayo. I'm gonna send this video to you guys. Please, please, please watch it because I really want to know what your thoughts are. I know it's like quote unquote a boring video because I don't have editing, and honestly, if you guys want to like take my video and just do it your way because you actually have the editing, you have my full blessing, my full permission. Because you guys will actually A, get the message out there, and B, be a lot more visually appealing. Me, I'm just guy chilling on my couch. I don't have editing skills, or anything like that. Or even the capabilities or the technology. I have a phone, bro. I can edit clips around, but that's it. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Please, please, please comment, and yeah. Anyways, I've been Scavenger. Let's get into the video. Alright, so before I get called some LARPer, because I got called a LARPer the other day by someone because I said that Ascension was a bad game and was always a bad game, and that, the only reason people are somewhat looking at it positively is all the revisionist people or whatever. No, Ascension fucking sucks, bro. You know, I might make a video on that. I don't even really feel the need. But I will show you this. Because I'm not a fucking LARPer. Like, I was built for this shit, bro. God of War Ascension. Platinum Trophy. God of War 2. Platinum Trophy. God of War. Platinum Trophy. Chains of Olympus. Platinum Trophy. Ghost of Sparta. Platinum Trophy. This one cost me $10 fucking because of this shit right here. Complete the multiplayer training in Olympus. Why couldn't I do that without paying for it? Playing the multiplayer itself. Okay, yeah, sure, I get that. But why did I have to pay $10 fucking to get one trophy in a game, bro? I was genuinely built for this shit, bro. I played the God of War games, and then I got the God of War 3 Remaster Trophy right fucking there. God of War's Trophy, 2018 specifically, Father and Son. And God of War Ragnarok. So yeah, bro. If anyone's gonna say like, oh, you're just a LARPer, oh, you started on the 2018 game or something. No, I started on God of War 2 on the PS2. Okay? I played these games before, brother. You know, you guys show me that you platinumed all 8 games, and we'll talk. Then we'll talk. Before that, don't fucking at me, bro. I didn't platinum Sons of Sparta. I ain't playing that fucking garbage. That shit sucks, bro. If you like it, more power to you and all that, whatever they say. But, like, I don't fucking like it. That game's trash. Trash. It's just one of those days! Anyways, here, I want you in the frame. Your cuteness. Your cute bait. And I'm a masturbator. So I will have the best cute bait. Thumbnail. Anyways, I'm worried, y'all. Oh yeah, scavenger. Yeah. Anyways, I'm worried, y'all. So God of War is in a very strange place. There's a lot going on right now, and I don't know how I feel about it all. So it's literally a rank of like out of the 3 things that are coming up right now, those being God of War Laufey, God of War Trilogy Remake, and the Amazon, I think it's Amazon, right? Yeah, the Amazon show. Okay. Anyways, out of those 3 things, that's literally in order of my, like, worriness. Well, actually, it'd be Laufey, Remake, and then Amazon. Anyways, so, with God of War Laufey, by the way, huge spoilers for God of War, well, just all of them, really. Like 1, 2, 3, 2018, mwah. Like all of them. Every God of War game. Huge spoilers. Recontextualization is terrifying me. Because they're already doing it. And see, games and movies in general will do this thing where they kind of
drip feed in, the changes so that when they actually change it, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. It doesn't seem like that big of a change. Because they're already kind of doing it. So, the two things, because, alright, I'm getting off track. Let me talk about God of War Laufey. The reason I'm worried about God of War Laufey is because the companion system. So, Santa Monica really shot themselves in the foot when it comes to the companion system, because for 2018, it's perfect. Like, that game, that story does not work without Kratos and Atreus being there with each other the whole story. And then the like two times where they aren't with each other, that being the scene in Alfheim where he gets like captured for that little while, and then the scene in where like Atreus gets sick and you have to go to Helheim. Those two times where you don't have Atreus, you fucking feel it. That's like an impactful moment. That's like, holy shit, my son is in danger, or my son is sick and in danger, one or the other. So it's a big deal. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Anyways, look at her. She's so cute. Ain't she the best? I have an awesome cat. Mwah. You might have a cool cat, but I got an awesome cat. Mwah. Anyways, Ragnarok, on the other hand, really... See, Ragnarok is such a... I want to like it. There's a lot of cool and great stuff that happens in Ragnarok. I want to like it. But I can't like it. It's just got so much wrong with it, and it's so... The writing is really rough in that. There's a lot of characters explaining exactly how they're feeling and what they're feeling. There's so much like reflection and reflecting and stuff like that. There's so much like inter turmoil, and all the characters have some huge emotional arc that they're going on and stuff like that. And it just gets a bit much. It's like every single character has an emotional arc and journey. Every one of them, really. And it's just, I don't know. I really want to like Ragnarok. I love God of War. So I actually have a video coming out soon about how I like have played God of War my whole life. I was made for this shit. I yearn for the mines. You know? What does that even mean in this context? I'm just saying stuff. Anyways, I'm just saying, look at her, look at how cute she is. I'm just saying, like, I'm a die-hard fan. I've played these games before. I used to play, like, God of War back on the PlayStation 2, because I'm old, I'm unk, I played it on the, smoke weed and drink diet soda and played God of War Burnout Paradise on the PlayStation 2. Anyways, and then I got the remasters, and I've been playing these games forever. I have them all platinumed. You wanna rep my stripes? You wanna rep my stripes, bro? I'll fucking rep my stripes. See, I would at this point, pause it and then get up and like show you my trophy list, but I got a cat on me, bro. Like, the rules. And so do I. I'll do it later. I will. I promise. Probably at the end. Anyways, though, look at that. Anyways, where was I going? Oh, I've played these games like my whole life. Like, I fucking love these games, bro. These rock. And 2018, I really liked. I thought the writing was goddamn like near perfect. The writing was literally peak. It was literally peak in that game. You know? And then Ragnarok, like I said, it's a lot of characters saying exactly what's going on and practically narrating things as they happened in real time in the story. And it got to be just so much. There was so much. And it kind of stems from a larger problem that I have with a lot of Sony's first party games, but that is another video I have getting made, basically. So, like, subscribe so you can see these future videos, man. But anyways, back to the companion system. There were several scenes in God of War Ragnarok. I say scenes, I mean like levels, sections, whatever you want to call them. But there were several parts of God of War Ragnarok that really did not need a companion, but the game has to have a companion. It's built on having a companion with you at all times. For instance, when you, again, full spoilers, bro, when you go to Vanaheim with Freya when she's stuck in her hawk form, and for no particular reason, Brock just tags along too. It really hurt it. I love Brock. Brock is one of my favorite characters. Fucking gratitude. I love Brock, bro. Bro was not necessary. You know, that was the you can go but take your little brother of the game. You know, it's like I love my little brother, but I didn't want to fucking take my little brother. I don't want to take the blue bastard. You know. Anyways, he just wasn't needed, and that being such a pivotal moment between Freya and Kratos and stuff like that. Brock was third wheeling, bro. There should have been a lot of moments in that game where you didn't have, a companion, and it should have been quote unquote normal to not have a companion. And that brings me to God of War Laufey. I'm really not excited about the prospect of having this fucking cube follow you around for 8 to 12 hours, yapping in my ear about random shit I don't care about. I don't like this cube, bro. I watched the trailer and the gameplay reveal trailer. I watched the trailer, and when we got to that, the jail where you thrown in the little jail cell cage thing, and then the cube starts talking, and there's the sword strings, specifically the ribbons that starts talking. It was just I hate to use this term because I particularly love the MCU, but it was MCU writing. It was, I just couldn't see it as anything else. It was MCU writing. This cube that's just named Fred or something like that. I can't even remember what it was named. That might be right, that might be not. It might have been Frank or something. But this cube just named Fred, who's gonna have a modern sounding voice, whereas everybody else sounds accurate to the time period / mythology / there's certain candor about themselves. And then there's gonna be Fred the Cube, and I'm just not excited, bro. I really hate the companion system in God of War Ragnarok. Again, 2018, that game was made for it. That game was made for it. Ragnarok, it was very annoying, but Ragnarok has a lot of problems. A lot of problems. But we're not here to talk about that. But ultimately, that's not very high on my worry list. I'm gonna play Laufey. Game looks fucking sick regardless. And I'm hoping that the cube is just in certain sections, or if it's treated Brock and Sindri were in the first God of War 2018, the first Norse God of War, then I'm here for it. I can take, the cube in small bursts. I don't want please don't, Santa Monica, if you're watching this, I'm begging you. Oh shit, my bad. My fault, game. Anyways, I'm begging you, please do not make the cube the companion. I don't like Terry the Tesseract, whatever the fuck his bitch ass name is. Mwah. But like I said, I'm gonna play the game. Game looks fucking sick. I really like the look of Bexy. That guy, oh my god. He is fucking badass. And I was really worried they were gonna make him silent. And then when he speaks, one of the first lines, if not the first, I think it was the first line in the trailer. I don't know, I gotta rewatch that. Was, "Do you want me to show you how hard it is to die here?" Or something along those lines. I was like, brother speaking words. He's speaking forming sentences. Oh dear, oh dear. It's not as hard as some of the shit Kratos has said. Kratos has said some hard shit. But Bexy? That one line just Would you like me to show you how hard it is to die here? Oh, brother. There's something in my beard. Anyways, that being said, that's not really high up on my list of worries. You know. Also not too high up on my list of worries is the God of War Amazon show. This is gonna be like the shortest segment because I really don't know like this be like segment 2. I really don't know too much about it. I don't think anyone really knows too much about it besides like the fact that apparently the guy who voiced Thor in the game is going to play Kratos in the show, so that's kind of funny. But I just can't even bring myself to care about it. I'm not gonna watch it. I don't care. I really don't like when video games branch into other forms of media. I look, I've heard that apparently it's bad anyways, but I was not interested at all with that Devil May Cry anime. I don't really care for the Resident Evil movies. I know that's like a kind of a quote unquote bad example because those are like really their own thing until they're not. It's weird. But I really like it when media stays as the media. I don't want to go out of my way to interact with media in multiple different ways, okay? Like kind of the same, not the same. The Mortal Kombat X comics, never fucking read them. I briefly skimmed like the first issue where Cassie Cage is cage fighting and stuff like that, but that's fucking it. I never fucking read those comics. I'm not going to go out of my way to interact with a story like out of the way, you know? It's a pain in the ass, you know? Now, I know that apparently the show is going to be non-canon / its own thing, but why has it got to be the Norse game? It should have, I don't know. I don't know what it should have done. It shouldn't exist. I don't want a show. I don't want a show. You know, I don't think everything needs a live action adaptation. I think live action adaptations kind of suck and just bring down the inherent value of the thing. Because now, say it's terrible, okay? This show is terrible. It's going to put a bad taste in everyone's mouth, and that's going to be how so many, like this huge group of people is going to look at God of War from now on. Say it's amazing. This is going to bring in all of these fans who are going to look down at other parts of the franchise, and probably particularly the Greek saga, and say how terrible the Greek saga is. When, like, the Greek saga's fucking peak, bro. You know? I mean, like, Ascension is mid, you know, as fuck. And then, like, Chains of Olympus is really only interesting at the end. You know? But, mwah, I just kissed your eye. The fuck was that? Anyways, though. Those two things, like, Laufey directly affects me because I'll be playing that. I really couldn't care less about this Amazon show. I'm not interested. It looks like from the one screenshot, it looks like it's gonna be mid, you know. And I don't even fucking have Amazon. I have Hulu and Disney Plus. I have HBO Max, kind of. I used to. I mean, I still have. I just gotta reinstate my subscription because I want to watch stuff on there. Now, the really big worry. You know, Laufey, that's the current series, quote unquote. That's how it's going. Take it or leave it with the cube. The Amazon Prime show doesn't really affect me that much. I'm not going to watch it anyways. But you want to know what I am terrified, vehemently terrified about. And I already alluded to it earlier. And then had to pivot to the Laufey thing. Please make Kratos a bad person. Kratos is a bad person. He had bad things happen to me, and he's in a world full of worse people, you know, but Kratos is a bad person, and stop trying to change that, you know? And see, this is what I was starting to talk about. They, like, Santa Monica is, like, drip-feeding little changes and stuff like that, where they recontextualize the past events of the past games, and try to say, like, oh, this wasn't like that, and stuff like that. Cough, cough, the boat captain and Hercules. Those two examples I'm going to call out specifically, okay? Because in God of War 2005 on PS2 and PS3 remaster, but anyways, God of War 2005, the boat captain, you kill the Hydra, go into the Hydra's throat, and then there's the boat captain who's like, struggling, and you rip the key off his neck, and he's like, "Oh, you came back for me," and Kratos is like, "I didn't come back for you," and rips the key off his neck, and it's this mean-spirited thing, but it's to show, like, Kratos is a dick. Kratos is a bad person. He, for no fucking reason, just killed that guy. You know? It would have taken, literally, probably the same amount of effort for Kratos to simply pull on the guy's arm to pull him up instead of pulling on the guy's necklace. You know? And that's all it was. And then he also showed up in God of War 2 when the barbarian summons one of the souls and he's like, "Not you again," and it's like a joke. And then there's also the note in God of War 3 where you can find a note on the ground when when you go into Hades. Hades, the place, not the person. Well, not the god, but anyways, you can find a note on the ground, and I can't remember the exact words, but it says something along the lines of like, "Oh, he, treated me like I was nothing," and blah blah blah, and it was kind of a reoccurring gag slash joke slash whatever. And it even made a comeback in God of War fucking 2018 when it's not that specific boat captain, but there's a very similar boat captain story. Why do you see your leg like all the way out there? Anyways, there's a similar boat captain story where it's like this shipwrecked captain, and it was all about like a key or something. I don't think it's the exact same, obviously, but it's like pretty similar, and it's meant to be like an homage, Well, fast forward to God of War Ragnarok. They released the Valhalla DLC, which was in some ways peak. Like the fact that the Blade of Olympus, and again, full fucking spoilers. The fact that the Blade of Olympus came back, that scene when Kratos puts Mimir in the cage, but it's actually Helios, and then it turns into Mimir, fucking shitting my bricks, bro. Like I didn't think they would kill Mimir necessarily, but like I was shitting my bricks. I was like, because he puts Helios in the cage where he's gonna burn the sacrifice, and I'm not gonna explain all the context. I'm just assuming you fully played these games, and then it turns into Mimir, and he's like, "Brother, why am I here? What am I doing?" It's like, oh my god! I was like, oh my god! Like, and he fucking breaks the cage, and then like breaks all of fucking like Valhalla because of it or whatever, because he broke the rules. Like I was like, yo, that's like sick. Like I was like, oh my god! I was again shitting my bricks because I was terrified. I fucking love Amir, bro. Brother. Mwah. Mwah. But anyways, how did I even get on that? Anyways, the boat captain in Valhalla DLC, he talks about how he's so sad that he regrets killing the boat captain for no reason. Like I just said, it would have taken pretty much the same amount of effort to pull the boat captain up rather than just ripping the key off of his neck. And Kratos is sorry and he regrets his actions. And it's like, he doesn't fucking regret his actions. Fuck you, Santa Monica, if you think you can trick me, if you think I'm that stupid to think Kratos regrets his actions. Kratos forgot about that about 5 minutes after it happened. Like, what the fuck, bro? And then Hercules, the fight in God of War 3. You fight Hercules, and Kratos literally tells Hercules, "I don't want to fight you. There's no reason for us to fight or do this right now." And Hercules presses it to where it does become a fight. And, so he didn't want to necessarily kill Hercules, but, like, he doesn't love Hercules. Yes, they're technically brothers. They're, like, half-brothers or step-brothers or, like, I think they'd be half-brothers, correct? Right? Because it's not through marriage, it's through blood, so half-brothers. But, like, he doesn't fucking care about, like, it's not Deimos. Like, he doesn't fucking care about Hercules that much. Hercules is just kind of, like, a cousin to him, like, family relation-wise. And, I don't think he really, felt too bad caving Hercules' skull in and, beating him to a pulp with his own gauntlets. I don't think he really felt that bad, bro. And you can even, like, after you do it, you can, like, examine the body, and the little blurb just says something about, Hercules' destroyed body and stuff like that. There's no hint of sadness. There's no hint of regret. There's the one line where Kratos is like, I don't want to fight you. We don't have to do this. And that is fucking it. And then fast forward to Valhalla again. And Tyr asks Kratos about Hercules. And he's like, and Kratos is like, I didn't want to fight him. Okay, that's good. And but he left me no choice. Yeah, okay, sure. And I feel so bad. I don't remember what he said, but he's like regretting his actions, and he's like, it's about the framing. It's not about like what he said, is about how he said it. It's about the framing. It's about the context. And Santa Monica is drip feeding in this recontextualization about the past events and stuff like that. They're framing that, oh, he feels bad about the boat captain. And, he feels bad about having to kill Hercules because he didn't want to kill Hercules and stuff. It's not that Kratos didn't want to kill Hercules. Kratos didn't see a reason to fight. In God of War 3, the only person that Kratos... There was two, actually. Well, three. There was only 3 characters in God of War 3 that Kratos killed solely because he wanted to. Okay? Well, 4, actually. And I'm sorry, I keep adding. Hera, because she called Pandora a whore, pissed him off. Zeus himself, obviously, that's the really big one. That one guy who was on the ledge, like, when you're shimmying across the ledge, and there's the guy in the way, and Kratos, like, bashes his head against the skull and then throws him off. Again, more actions of Kratos being a reprehensible, abhorrent douchebag. Kratos is a bad person. Keep that in your mind. Kratos is a bad person. The world around him is terrible. But anyways, and Hermes. Hermes just annoyed him to the point where, like, that's on you, bro. So, Hera, Zeus, Hermes, and that one random guy on the ledge. There was only 4 characters in that game that Kratos killed solely because he wanted to. Just because he fucking wanted to. All the other characters either got in his way, chose to fight him, stopped him somehow, was the key to this puzzle or something like that. You know what I mean? Technically, he didn't have to kill those 4 characters. He didn't have to kill those characters. He could have just walked away after Hera was, like, said whatever. But no, he didn't. He fucking snapped her neck. He could have walked, he could have found some way to shimmy around the guy. He could have ignored Hermes, He tried to ignore Hermes at first. It is not worth my time to swat a fly from the ass of Zeus. That's such a fucking cold line, And then, whoever the 4th person was Zeus. He killed because he wanted to. That he absolutely did because he wanted to. Which, fair facts, valid. But just, I'm so worried with this trilogy remake that I think the gameplay's gonna be fire, bro. Like, if they just basically make all 3 games God of War 3 level, like, perfection, we got a fucking a 10 out of 10, bro, But I'm worried when it comes to the story elements, they're gonna kind of treat it like the Dead Space remake, where the Dead Space remake recontextualized events and reframed things and reshot things. And, instead of, this, it was this, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I've actually brought it up in my Dead Space video, but, like, the captain, where you go into, get the captain's key thing off his chest. In the PS3 version, you watch it all happen through a window, and you're basically powerless and you're just watching it happen. Whereas in the remake, you actually go into the room, you go to grab the thing off the guy's chest, and then one of the bats, I don't know what they're called, but the necromorph bat, comes down, infects him, and then the guy turns into a necromorph, like, basically on top of you, like Meow Meow is right now. And it's about that. And I'm worried that they're going to recontextualize, like, Perseus in God of War 2 was a douchebag, and fucking, am I going to be able to smash Perseus' head in a door in 4K? Am I going to be able to do that? I don't know. Because maybe that's too mean. Maybe that's too mean-spirited. You know, I'm just very, very concerned. I hope that I'm completely wrong. I hope that, all of this will age like milk and, I'll just be some random internet guy and I'll be one of those guys. I'm hoping I'm one of those guys where, those like fake fans, like those LARPers who complain about anything new and they're going to ruin it and blah, 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 and they're making it woke, blah, blah, blah. Those people, I hope I'm that guy. I genuinely hope I'm that guy. I hope this God of War Laufey comes out and you don't have to deal with the cube that much, or somehow the cube is fucking interesting. I don't think it will be, but I hope that Amazon show is fire, and I hope that it brings in new fans that try out the games, both the new and the old. And I hope that I really hope that I feel like the Laufey game will be good. Like, honestly, genuinely. Peak, who knows? Remains to be seen. Cautiously optimistic. But I know it will be good. Anyways, and I hope that trilogy remake. I'm scared. I'm scared for it. I'm shaking in my custom baby seal leather boots. I'm terrified that remake, they're gonna fuck it up, man. Again, I hope that this video ages like milk, and I'm the idiot who, people point at and say, look at this fucking dumbass. Please don't fuck it up, Santa Monica. Please keep Kratos a bad person. He's a bad person. That has always been my interpretation of Greek Kratos. Is well, it's not even my interpretation, it's the game's interpretation. They say, he lost his humanity over the years serving the gods, and that, at a certain point he didn't even care and he just saw red, and that, blah blah blah. And then they kind of tried to walk it back and say like, oh, it was actually because of this and the whatevers and stuff, and ew, gross. But I've yapped on long enough. But anyways, I love God of War. This game has meant a lot to me over the years. I've played it over the years. I've shown my mom and my brother it over the years. Because I have a cool mom. Fuck you, dude. She plays video games. She's a badass. She watches horror movies and plays video games. And, chain smoke. No, I'm joking. She don't do that. Well, I mean, she... Anyways. But anyways, I got a cool mom. And we all love God of War. So just... Please don't fuck it up. Please don't fuck it up. Yeah. I've been Scavenger Reviews. Closing thoughts. Please don't make the cube annoying. Please don't, change the trilogy remake too much. And to the Amazon Prime show, do whatever you want. I don't fucking care. I ain't gonna watch it. Yeah. Kind of a negative one. See, I don't like being negative, but negativity, like, is what sells, quote unquote, on the internet and all that. But I don't like being negative. I don't like being mean and saying, like, oh, you guys are idiots. Except for when I do like saying you guys are idiots, because that's, like, a whole different thing. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, as animated as I am, I'm absolutely fully willing and wanting to have conversation. Like, chat with me in the comments. I will absolutely comment back, and yeah, we can have a discussion. I would like to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think this? Do you think that? I don't know. I've been Scavenger Reviews, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hype me up, and yeah, peace.